What's up, YouTube? Lord Fader coming back at you on Lord Fader's Perspective. I have another special guest with me today. The man goes by Knowledge. Tell him what's up, bruh.
What's up? It's me, Knowledge, out here in my backyard. Just marinating in the sunlight with the wind blowing.
So, I like to try and talk to brothers who are doing it, and I can tell y'all that this brother right here helped me out a whole lot in my life. I was in a N-word mind state for a long time when he met me. I was not utilizing it well. We used to work together, and he just kept probing little questions to me. Hey man, you ever think about doing this? You ever think about doing that? So he changed my whole life. Right now I'm pretty successful, and I'm successful because of this brother. So we have a couple of topics we want to start a little conversation that all y'all hope y'all get into. First one is, what mindset do you need to be black and successful in the United States? What do you think?
Well, the mindset you need is you can't go into it thinking I'm a black man, they're going to hold me back. You can't have that mindset.
Right.
You can't go into it like everybody that's black is either trying to help me or hold me back. That's not the mindset either. The mindset you got to go into it is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself that there's nothing that you can't do. Then you follow that up with, you have to go a little extra. That's just the way it is. And make sure you learn everything first. So that way no one can manipulate the situation.
Okay. Now, I'm just writing these things down as you say them because I want to stay on topic. First one, believe in yourself. I think that's a big one. I don't think a lot of people necessarily believe in themselves. As far as what you say, you have to learn. That's a really important one. You know what I find kind of crazy? You know how every time a new slang word come out, brothers always know what it is, like capping and, you out there windmilling for such and such. You know how they always know that? But when they have to speak regular English, they mess words up. Like, people used to say, I have an idea. Now they say, I have an ideal. An ideal is totally different than a daggone idea. So it's like, we can learn slang, so it ain't a problem with us learning, it's what we choose to learn. And I think that's part of the problem that holds us back. What you think about that?
Yeah, you have to learn it. Because if you can't learn it, or if you don't know it, you can't hold anybody accountable. Because you can't prove that they're doing it wrong, doing it right. And then you're putting your faith in other people that they're doing it right. And
True.
That's not a position of success. And no, you can't learn everything about every job, but you can always get the foundation of it.
Right.
So you can understand, hey, that ain't right or this is right based off of what I do know.
Now you just hit upon something. You said a key word right there. Job. A lot of brothers is out there on that hustle. They ain't necessarily working no job. And they look at that like something that's beneath them, because they can't make fast money. They can't do what they want to do right now. So how important do you think it is for brothers to have jobs?
Well, take the word job and look at it as a hustle. Because to move up in any company, you have to be ready to out-hustle, out-work, and figure out how to make yourself better so you become an asset. And then you can take those things and put it into your life or your own personal hustle. But it still comes with a structure that you learn from improving yourself in the process.
This is true. Like I said, this is why I knew I was going to enjoy talking to you. Also, another thing too I want to try to get into is what do you think are some of the things that's holding, especially black people, but people in general, back from being successful?
They don't want to do the work.
Okay.
They want to look at what the next person doing and tell you, he came over here, she came over here, and they didn't do it. Why I got to do it? And it's holding their success up. They're comparing not doing nothing as a legitimate reason why they should get paid for nothing.
Word.
And that's not going to work.
Word. And I think I should let people know that you are at a managerial level. You're not, at an hourly level. So you do manage people. So you do see a cross section from the top to the bottom. So that's true.
And I worked my way up from
True.
the bottom.
Yep.
So I was one of them.
Yep.
And I chose not to be at the bottom.
That's big. And here's another thing too. When you met me, was my mindset a mindset that was going to make me be successful?
Yes. And you shook your head no.
No.
You had qualities because when we met, you were showing up, you were doing it. The company could depend on you. They call you, hey, someone didn't show up. Can you come to work? You had a ride. Hey, can we come pick you up and bring you to work? So you had things about you that were signs of success. Was there a lot of other things that were holding you back? Yes. And that's the things that we worked on, and you just took off from there.
And what are some of those things that was holding me back? Don't worry about being nice. You can't hurt me. Talk like we talk when we be talking.
I'm not trying to hurt you. I mean, we go way back, and if you don't mind me talking about the red truck.
Nah, I don't care about that.
That was an incident that was a part of your mindset. And so you thought I was laughing at you, and then you thought I was laughing at what the other people were laughing about.
Yep.
I was laughing because you couldn't see my reality, and you couldn't get out of your own way to understand that the roadblock is the scenario.
Yep.
And the scenario was a perfect storm. So let me tell the story.
Go ahead. One of us need to tell it.
Bomb truck. You had the bomb red truck. You had the brand. You had the beat. It was clean. So you had finally got everything on it, and you just got the beat put in it at the stereo shop.
Alarm system.
It was bomb. How you doing it? And then it got broken into and everything got stolen. Put an insurance claim in. Took it right back to the same place. You got everything done again, and it got stolen again.
Yep.
And you said the insurance company thinks it's fraud. And I started laughing because you couldn't see that it looked like fraud.
No, I couldn't.
I know that you got scammed, but where you stayed at was a problem. Sometimes we're victims of our environment.
That's what I wanted you to get to right there.
You were staying in a neighborhood where you have high crime and high theft. So that plays a part of how society treats you. It's just what it is. You can't get around that.
Yep.
Then your process with how you went, put the insurance claim, got the money, put in the second insurance claim. Oh, they trying to beat the system because that's what they were doing around you, and that's what's going on. You were a victim of real crime, but it looked like fraud because of your lifestyle or your environment.
Right.
And so, and I was trying to get you to understand, man, that although it's wrong and you got taken advantage of, you got to see it from the business side. They have to do their due diligence, and based off of that, you were trying to beat the system. And they were laughing about something else, and I was just trying to get you to see we got to change that. And we did.
Yeah.
First thing I did, I started talking to you about, man, you need to move out that neighborhood. And you didn't want to move out the neighborhood. You're like, I don't want to be around those kind of people or these kind of people. I feel good here. I was like, I know, but you got to put yourself in the situation so when your car get broken into, it makes sense. Like, why would you put that much money into a car in the neighborhood where you know they steal it, and then you do it twice? It just didn't make sense to them. So that's why it was like fraud.
Okay, I get it, and that's good, and that's what I wanted to get to was my mindset at the time was I'm where I belong, but I was not where I belong. I was selling myself short. And you started talking to me about the possibility of just getting a house. And that house, I had that house built. And I got to tell you about houses. At the time, Knowledge had Shangri-La. He had the biggest, nicest, like a Scarface house, like a house you see, and you said, "Oh, I want that." So, at the time, I was thinking I was so far from it. I'm living in apartments in the hood in Dallas, and it's $400 a month, and I'm thinking I'm getting over because I only got to pay $400 a month. So, like he said, everything I was buying, guess what they were doing? Ripping it off. So I'm just buying the hood rims, I'm buying the hood stereos, I'm buying the hood vehicles and all of that. So I get it. So I think using myself as an example of one of the things that hold us back is our mindset, where we settle for everything got to be hood. I got to be in the hood. I got to be da 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 da. And that's what holds a lot of people back. Soon as you start moving out of that and getting around people who are successful, who's successful minded, guess what happened? And I think it was you that told me, when you are within $10,000 a year of the people that you interact with and you hang with. So networking is a very important thing. You need to hang around. But if you're hanging around people who smoking weed, doing thug stuff, guess what? Whatever they make, that's what you're gonna be in, about $10,000 of that. But if you're around people who you're on the golf course, you know, you guys are making business deals, you're making connections, and these people are six-figuring up. You know, sooner or later you're gonna be six-figuring up, or they wouldn't even hang with you. So that was a good principle that you turned me on to too. What you think about speaking on that?
Yeah, that's very true. So I learned that just working with a cool white guy. He's from Michigan. I mean, he's from Michigan. He understands black people. He understands the culture. But he was a white boy, and he talked to me about certain things, and he set me up for success at a different job I was at because he gave me an opportunity. And everybody don't give you an opportunity. So when you get it, you have to take it and run with it. And just let's be clear, no man or woman is the foundation behind that opportunity. I mean, at the end of the day, the opportunities come from something better than and bigger than all of us. But it's how you use it. So he would hang out on the golf course, and he was explaining to me that he had his side hustle. He had a business outside of his work, but they just do it differently. They document it. They make it legal, but it's still a hustle. And he was like, yeah, some of these guys are making this much. If I keep hanging out with them, I'll get within 10,000 of them, because the people you hang out with, your salaries kind of blend because you get into the same kind of environment, so you're doing the same kind of work. So it's that saying that we say, or if you heard before, is if you hang with 9 broke friends, you're going to be the 10th one, because that's the core people you hang around. It's the same thing if you hang around people who are trying to be successful and moving up in their company.
Word.
So just so you know, a lot of young people come into my company, and I always do my best to give us an extra try. But we got to know what to do with it when someone's trying to help you.
Yeah.
You just got to know how to take that and run with it.
Yeah.
And understand that everybody that's being hard on you isn't against you. And sometimes those people that are being too nice to you, they might not be for you.
Now that's true.
A lot going on.
That's true, and I can say I resisted for a long time the help that you was trying to give me. I was resistant to that. Oh, all the time. And I want to give a shout out to, I shouldn't have really said his name, but the brother, he helped me out also. He was as equally helpful to me as you were, because y'all was two brothers that was very successful at the time, to the point to where I think a lot of other people were jealous of you guys at the job. And instead of you guys lording that over people, y'all was trying to help people around y'all get to where, you know, you were. And I think that's something that you don't see every day also. Do you see other minority people trying to help minority people, or do you see people just trying to say, well, I got mine, I ain't worrying about you?
Well, back to the brother that you said his name, you know, he was helping you as much as I did. That goes back to that point. We hung together, we made close to the same salary, and we lived in the same neighborhood because we were evolving. And to this day, we don't live in the same neighborhood, but where he works at is about a good 15, 20 minutes from me,
I didn't know that.
still rising. We both still connecting. We both still interact and try to help other people that we know. As far as like, I've always had, as they say, targets on my back. You work with me,
Yeah.
and you know how I work. When no one else would do their job, I would do my job. When
Yep.
no one else cared, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would outwork anybody. And my philosophy in my mind was, you're not gonna outproduce me. And if you beat me one day, you're not gonna beat me the next two.
Yep.
Because we were very competitive. We had numbers and targets. And I learned everything. So I learned every position I could learn, to where they made me a technical trainer and an OJT trainer in the facility,
Yep.
as well as a liaison for the customers, because I understood what the issues were, and I could call them and say, hey, I see this problem. We need to do ABC, so that goes away. Also, I'm seeing this before they see it. I have full access. And I take that and I use that as power for myself. Feel like, if I get it over here, I can fix it over here. This is the way life is.
I appreciate you saying that. And also, that was a good example for myself, because to this day, I try to do that. I try to not let anybody outwork me. I try to do things to where other people, like our boss told us that we had to stay till a certain time. You know, we split our shift up to where they all come in at 30-minute intervals. So you got first set come in at whatever time, the second set comes in at whatever time. But when I get done with my work, it's before the second set leaves. So he was like, y'all gotta stay until the last person is gone. And the other managers looked at that like a punishment. But I do it, and I see it paying dividends, because those people, they're like, oh, well, he cares. He's here at the very end to help us with stuff, to kind of transition us out, to stand up for us when the next managerial crew get in. So that has been a great example. And you said something about, you use that for power and you took it. And that's a principle that I go by, is power is nothing that someone can give you. Power, true power, is something that you have to take. So in saying that, I want to discuss a little bit about black people in America are good at asking people for stuff. You need to respect me. You need to hire me. You need to date me. You need to blah, blah, blah. If you're asking somebody for something, even if they give it to you, it's not real. If you take it, like you want to be successful, the principles that you're describing, that's how you be successful. You don't say, hire me because I'm black and I'm a minority. You come in and you just outwork and you outperform everybody. And even if you ain't outperforming, if you're giving that effort, people gonna recognize that. So that leads me into what I always said. I know we disagree on this one. I say white supremacy doesn't exist. What do you say?
You say white supremacy doesn't exist.
Yes.
It's only in our hands.
Yep.
So, in some situations, I believe that. But there are situations where there is a racism act. And when you see that act and it's physical and it's there, that's still real.
But that's not white supremacy. That's just racism. That exists within our own race, light skin, dark skin. We have racism within our race. So yeah, I understand that Irish people didn't like Italian people back in the day. Racism exists. I'm talking about a system that keeps us from doing something that any white person can do in this country right now. That would be a supremacy. I don't think that exists.
So, I agree that only we can hold ourselves back, right?
Yep.
And I agree that I can go as far as I can go. If I believe it,
Yep.
I speak it,
Yep.
and when I speak, I believe, and I do it, then those things will happen. But the setback is, it's not enough of us on the same page.
I agree with that.
And there are white supremacy that don't want to see us above them. So they do things to try to roadblock us. And when I say they or them, I don't know how many. But in my mind, I cannot say that there's no one out there that could be a part of white supremacy. It could be a very small group. But I promise you, that small group, if it is or isn't, it can't hold us back if we're on the same page of processing forward, but by doing it the right way. So when I say doing it the right way, I can't I can't move forward and build power in a country where I'm asking them, hey, I need this government assistance check,
Yep.
or hey, I have to live on the food stamp system.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying that some people don't need that, but when you get to a point where you can use that as a springboard forward, you get off of that and you run forward without it.
Yep.
But if you use that as a system that I'm just going, I'm good. I got my food, I got a little money coming in, and I ain't got to work for nobody. I got my little hustle on the side.
Yep.
I mean, that's the circuit, that wagon circle. That's all you're gonna be. But what are we teaching our kids, or what are we teaching the foundation about tomorrow? Because there's a lot going on in the world that it's not being televised. You really got to keep up with how fast electronics and things are evolving. And so every day you have another 24 to start over and do it right. You get 24 hours every time you wake up to make the best of it.
Yep.
So these are the things you need to be thinking to move forward so you don't fall back.
You know, that was really well said, really well put. So I think what it is I don't think either of us think that there's a blatant system of white supremacy. And I think we both understand that personal responsibility is how you overcome anything that's in your way. And yes, there are racist people who don't want you to succeed, but as I said, there are also black people that don't want you to succeed. So I get that. Now, you mentioned food stamps, government assistance and all. I think personally, no one should get that stuff. And I think if you black, you should especially turn that stuff down. I think that we should go to our own, that we should build a base. I think that the religious institutions should be the one responsible for feeding the homeless, taking care of the sick and the infirm, the disabled or whatnot. I don't believe government should be doing it, because when anything government do that they give, they take twice. So to me, I don't think that anybody should be getting public assistance. And I had this discussion with another brother that I did a video with. And I understand that, you know, people say you need to help people who need help. My point is, when you have a child, if you, no matter what circumstance you are, prepare and do everything you can for that child to grow up and have a chance. And I mean things like starting a college fund as soon as they're born, even if you don't put but $1 a week in it. Even if you're getting public assistance, you can afford $1 a week, so that when your child reaches an age to go to school, you have a little something for them to go to school. And then you have to value education and stop dressing them up like little thuds and little Tatianas and putting weaves on 5 and 6 year old babies and showing them off like they're a doll. And the next thing, you got to make sure you got family units. If you do that, then you don't need public assistance, because apply that with the principles that you've been talking about, and you may not be Puff Daddy, but you're gonna make sure you eat, you're gonna make sure you have something adequate to ride in, you're gonna make sure you have somewhere good to stay, because you're gonna make a better choice than I did about where you need to be staying. And that's what it's all about, the choices we make. So to me, that public assistance thing is one thing that really holds us back. Just like you said, I sit back, I got my food stamps, I got a little bit of money, I got a side hustle. I know plenty of brothers that'd rather sell a little dope, not even be big, and just sell a little dope, live off public assistance, rather than get a job and be something. Then they look around and they're 50 years old, they don't have anything.
So I agree with a lot of stuff you said, but I still have to say this. So when we say we need to be able to do this for ourselves, we don't have the structure yet. We don't have the foundation yet. And that's the part that's hard digest, because how do you help when you can't, when you're not helping? Church isn't doing that. There's not a black foundation or group that is financially stable that's able to develop and push us into the right direction. So all I'm saying is, today, tomorrow, if you're in that situation, you have to want to better yourself and take the small steps. It's just one small step, one thing at a time to get off of it. And then people will be placed in your life to keep pulling you up. You just got to understand that everybody that's pulling you up and trying to help you, they may not sound the way you think it should sound. So they might come across like they're rude, or they might come across like they always got an attitude. No, you need to adjust yourself and be open to change so you can evolve. And that's going to be part of the difference to make us better. The other part is, I got kids, you got kids, and it's easy to say to someone, hey, do this, do that, do this. There's a curveball, because that's one for themselves. So when you do everything right, it doesn't mean you're going to get the results you want. But you have to understand that a person has free will, so that's the curveball. But yes, you do have to set them up for success. And then it's up for them to use it as their platform or their springboard.
That's true. I agree with that. Like I'm saying, you say we don't have the structure and we don't have the organization. I say that we do. I'm saying the only thing we have to do is shift our mindset, because you could take the lowest thing. You understand that right now you can go to McDonald's and make $15 an hour right now.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, yeah, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to work some long hours. But if you spend that money the way you're supposed to spend it, if you allocate the funds where you're supposed to allocate them, stop drinking, stop smoking, stop worrying about partying every weekend, stop worrying about wearing gold, stop. What?
Work the long hours.
Yeah, you're going to have to work the long hours. You're going to have to put the work in. That's the most important fundamental part of it. You can't live a life to where every day is just having fun all the time. Everything has to be measured. The reason why evil exists in the world is because you would not know what good was without it. That's yin and yang. So if you want something, you simply have to work for it. He who doesn't work doesn't eat, or he who works like a king, work like a slave, eat like a king. So that's a very important part of it.
And I say that because me and you worked a lot of long hours when we worked together.
Yep.
You know, at one point I worked 3 jobs.
Yep.
I worked my full-time job, I worked a side job at the gas station, and I got up to 3 in the morning and filled up my little SUV with newspapers and threw newspapers.
Yeah.
So I went to the first job and then do it all over again.
Yeah.
That's what I chose to do to purchase my first home.
Yep. Which was,
I got to where
I don't know about that first
first
one.
home.
I never saw that first one, but I know I saw Shangri-La, bruh. And that thing
That
was,
was my third one.
boy, that thing's awesome. I still love that.
My third one.
Man, that's big, man.
We good, man. You just gotta know you gotta work hard.
Gotta work hard.
You can't get there without putting the work in.
Yep.
If you look at anybody that's successful, even in sports,
Yep.
the one thing they all have in common is they worked hard. Their
Yep.
whole process, from day one as a kid to
Yep.
even in whatever sport they chose, they
Yep.
work hard.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
right.
that in life. It's like that at the job. The ones that work hard, the ones that are successful, if things don't work out at that company, that same process works at the next company. So
Right.
you keep pushing.
Right, man. So I think what's going down right now is some very good information that you're imparting to people. And I hope some of the young brothers look at this and understand. Because to me, the way we trying to live is a distraction. You know, a lot of people, everybody now, including myself, do music. Everybody rap. Everybody sing. And you got to look at why you're doing it. If it's distracting you from going to work and building your life, then you don't need to do it. So I have my own recording studio. I do my own little thing, but I pay for everything that's in here, and I don't pay nobody for studio time, so I can do it like a hobby and do what I want to do. But I know a brother that lives in a storage unit. He supposedly is a rapper. He's releasing songs and he lives in a storage unit. He could live with his aunt, but his aunt doesn't want all that stuff happening in her house. So instead of him living there, taking the opportunity to get a little job, he already worked fast food, as we said, that's $15. If he hit his money right, get his own place, buy his own equipment, he can do what he want to do. But instead, he's looking at, oh, I'm gonna make it, and keep living that lifestyle he living. He got to smoke, drink every day. You know, that's where his money is going. And he never, ever changes his situation. So I think that's just an example of how we can do the same thing. We can do the things we want. We can chase our dreams. But the fundamental thing you just said, you have to work, and you have to work hard, and you got to work first, and you got to make sure you work, because no one goes to work to make anybody else rich. You go to work to get the things that you want to get. So you got to put that time in. So like I said, man, very, very important what you just said.
And you said change his situation. The biggest thing in change is you.
Yeah.
Whatever isn't right in your life is you. You have to change. You can go from being religious to non-religious to back religious. You can gain weight, you can lose weight. Everything starts with you. So when you decide, can't nobody stop you. This is what it is.
That's true. And like I said, that's another principle that I think people don't understand. Everybody wants to change the world by trying to change somebody else. So for me, when I want people to do things, I don't say, look here, knowledge, you need to be doing blah, blah, blah. And if you did that, then it'll be better for everybody. No, what I do is I go and I look in that mirror and I say, well, what can I do to be an example? And I give you one example. When I started the job I'm working right now, I lost a lot of weight. I started exercising. I started eating different and eating better. And when I got to where I am, most people was fat, sick, lazy. Then I started to notice, and it started with the females. They would come up and they say, what are you doing to, not be big like that? Why you have all this energy? And I'm older. So I would always tell them what I did and tell them now it's like a fitness craze around that place. People are running. I go outside in the neighborhood, people jogging. When I first got here, nobody was running and jogging. I started doing it, now everybody's out there. So that's where you are an example of something, and you change other people's minds, and you change the world around you by doing exactly what you said, and that's work on yourself.
That's right. I agree with my brother.
Yeah. You got great knowledge, man. And like I said, it's more than just a name with you. And I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead on and, shut this thing on down. But I really want to appreciate you coming through and hanging with me today and giving all the great information that you gave. I would like to do this again sometime, but I don't want to put no pressure on you.
All right. All right. Peace out.
Peace.
Place your faith in the sun, moon, and stars. God is the only one who knows who you are.
Believe in yourself, protect your wealth. Start playing chess, cause they killing black people.
Don't place your faith in the sun, moon, and stars. God is the only one who knows who you are.
Believe in yourself, protect your wealth. Start playing chess, cause they killing black people. Yo, who you studying? Who you trying to be like? Sources dead, ain't nobody getting no fire like. We in the streets trying to overcome this evil. This ain't no joke no more, they killing black people. Cause we not really considered citizens. We don't know the mess emancipation put us in. Terms of the document was that we leaving, but we stayed cause they had our folks believing. I don't know about you, but where my mule at? Where the acres that they promised that would go with that? They sat back just to see if we would roll with that. Black folk, cheap labor made this country fat. Don't give a damn about a Democrat, Republican. Gay folks took the shine off the black man. More interested in what's in your underwear than black lives, meaning something cause they don't care.
Don't place your faith in the sun, moon, and stars. God is the only one who knows who you are.
Believe in yourself, protect your wealth. Start playing chess cause they killing black people.
Don't place your faith in the sun, moon, and stars. God is the only one who knows who you are.
Believe in yourself, protect your wealth. Start playing chess, cause they killing black people. Steady worried about some shoes that your man got. Your car he drive or the fact that his girl hot. If he the have, then I guess you are the have not. You cover what he have, so he in a bad spot. Black people hurt their own, trying to live a thug life. You slow and simple-minded, so you live a bug's life. Competing for the scraps that fall off while they table. An old story going back to Cain and Abel. These emo rappers have you focused on your low self. Copy how they live, that ain't good for your health. You can't learn to be a man from a pop star. Head in the clouds like you was a rock star. Who you gonna be? King, queen, rook, or pawn? Act like an animal and that's how you be looked upon. Not understanding what be locked inside your DNA. A righteous man will always choose to walk the narrow way.
Place your faith in the sun, moon, and stars. God is the only one who knows who you are.
Believe in yourself, protect your wealth. Start playing chess, cause they killing black people.
Place your faith in the sun, moon, and stars. God is the only one who knows who you are.
Believe in yourself, protect your wealth. Start playing chess, cause they killing black people.